Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for my broadcast. And I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their afternoon. We have Dr. V on this afternoon, and I just want to thank her so much for doing this. We're going to talk a little bit about breast health and breast self-exams today. Before we do get started, I'm just going to run a quick sponsor, and then we're going to come back with Dr. V.
Everywhere you look, people are talking about CBD. That's why it's such an exciting time to experience Hempworx, the best-selling, most in-demand line of premium CBD oil and CBD products for your health and wellness. Founded by entrepreneur, executive, and business coach Janice Wagle, Hempworx premium quality standards can be found from the top down and across the organization. From hemp farms to clean extraction methods to safe bottling, every step in our production process is vetted, monitored, and traceable, literally from the ground up. Thanks to our unique tracking system on the side of every Hempworx CBD tincture, we can track each batch of CBD oil all the way back to the farm it came from, all to ensure that you and your business are offering safe, effective, and high-grade CBD products. Including CBD tinctures, topicals, and soft gels, botanical face masks, hemp-based hair and body care products, CBD bath bombs, CBD fruit gummies, CBD coffee, even CBD products that are good for your pets. Recognized by the U.S. Hemp Authority Seal of Approval, Hempworx isn't just the CBD leader in product quality, variety, and innovation. We're actually helping to build a safer hemp industry from seed to shelf. Learn more and become an affiliate today.
Perfect. Thank you. So I just want to give everybody a little bit of background. Those who are signing on, a lot of my associates and friends, they've heard me talk about Dr. V, but I just want to give a brief description for anybody that might catch the replay. Dr. V is a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 10 categories and in 5 countries. I have the older version, and she has the new version of the book. She'll hold up, Heal Breast Cancer Naturally, 7 Essential Steps to Beating Breast Cancer. And you can find the link that I've run on the ticker. So if you go to Amazon, you can see where you can get that book. Dr. V's been in the wellness field since 1979. For the last 10 years or so, Dr. V, she's been on a journey of devoting her time to sharing her personal non-toxic healing journey with breast cancer. So, Dr. V, thank you so much for joining me today out of your busy schedule.
It feels funny you calling me Dr. V, Louise. You are my sister-in-law.
Well, that was going to get to my disclaimer, because I've had a couple of people that I know through my work. And there was one lady, and I'll give her a shout out to Rose, and she had wrote, "Oh my, I just love Dr. V. She's so great." So it was going to be a little bit of a disclaimer. And what I want everybody to know who don't know us personally is about 12 years ago, my older brother Brian, who calls himself the #1 son, met you, and I will say made the wisest choice of his life. And brought you into our family. So yes, we're very, very proud to call you my sister-in-law. So
thank you.
We thank you for that. So tell us a little bit about, how did you become known as the breast cancer conqueror?
Well, not something I'd ever could have imagined would happen to me. I was in practice. I was a chiropractor. I'd been in practice for 23 years. My dad had died of pancreatic cancer 20 years before that, and I started really looking into healing cancer naturally, and as well as autoimmune diseases and just all kinds of other issues that people had. So I wasn't just your typical pain relief type chiropractor. It was more of a holistic practice. And I was in the shower doing a breast exam because my mom had breast cancer. years back, and so found that lump that changed the course of my life forever. And you know, I knew at that time that I was going to do evidence-based natural medicine. There was no doubt in my mind, but I really had to kind of go through the flow like anybody else does. You know, when you find out you have cancer, it's like, okay, now what? And just, you know, really get settled and centered, and recognize I had to really create a program and dive into it and start taking care of myself. You know, it was a little frustrating at first, but as I started putting the piece of the puzzle together, it started coming together. And that's when I kind of had that aha moment that if I was getting frustrated with my healing journey with all these little bits and pieces, you know, how much more so with the average person. So that's when I created the 7 Essential System. It's a step-by-step guide that if you follow, you never have to fear cancer or any dis-ease again, really, because it lays the foundation for creating vibrant health. And so when I stopped practicing, you know, after being in practice for 30 years as a chiropractor, I started sharing my personal healing journey, and one thing led to another. And here I am, almost 10 years.
Yes.
Into, being the breast cancer conqueror.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I believe that, you know, all part of that journey. And I think there's a lot of us who have lived with cancer, either with ourselves or loved ones. And we know, you know, speaking from experience, when you hear that, everything stops. You can't hear anything else. The world seems to be going around, but you're in one place. So, you know, as we go through this conversation this afternoon, I just want to tell everybody, you know, if you're in that journey right now, if you're at the very beginning, in the middle, just don't ever lose hope. There's always hope. You know, my husband's been living 15 years, and 15 years ago when they said, get your affairs in order. Well, if we had listened to that,
exactly.
You know, well, so here we are, and we're still living life, and, you know, we still are on the journey, but, you know, we just never lose hope. So, but now one of the reasons I wanted to talk with you today and really help get the word out is my mother, who is not 84. I said I wouldn't talk about her age. She's not 84. So very healthy, very active, eats right, does everything that, you know, she should. You know, her and my father, you know, raised 6 kids, busy household, everything good, chaotic. And here we are, she's not 84, and finds a lump through breast exam. Mm-hmm. Now, go forward 8 weeks, it was diagnosed as malignant. She's had it removed, and thankfully was able to find it, you know, found it early enough. And, you know, if not for that self-exam and knowing breast health, you know, we could be looking at a different story. Now, you know, it's been taken care of, and we're moving forward, and we're so very thankful for that. So now you've developed a tool for breast self-exam, and I have one also. Mm-hmm. So do you want to, I'm going to put it up on, so if anybody's interested in getting information on that, but you want to talk a little bit about this, because not everybody understands how to do a breast self-exam, and, you know, the importance of it, obviously. I mean, if my mother at 84, not quite 84, who is very healthy, finds it, you know, we can't say, well, you know, I'm 60, 75, 85, and I'm not going to get it now, or I'm 25, I'm too young. We need to make sure that everybody understands it can affect all of us.
Absolutely. Well, the history behind this breast model is actually was created by the MamaCare Foundation, and they've been producing these models, and theirs is beige, basically. It's a clinical model. It's been used to train nurses and doctors for the last 30 years. It was developed by the University of Florida in Gainesville with the help of the National Institute of Health and the National Cancer Institute. And so basically it's a silicone breast model that has 4 different lumps in it.
Yep.
And it teaches you a system, because most women, when I show them the model, they start poking in there. Oh, yeah. There's no rhyme or reason, because we've never been taught, right, how to do a proper exam. So this model comes with an instructional video, comes in a little box, and it shows you, for example, So this top one here, oops, this top one is the
Yes.
size lump that women typically find when they're not trained in an exam. Scroll all the way down. When you're properly trained, you can find something the size of a pea. So this model teaches you, number one, what to feel for, because you don't know. Our breasts are lumpy and bumpy anyway. So what does a lump, a diseased lump feel like? And this is what this model teaches you. These are actually replicas of tumors that were taken out of women's breasts. Secondly, it teaches you how to feel. So you don't use the tips of your fingers, but you actually have to use the pads of your fingers in a very small circular motion.
Yep.
And then lastly, it's where to feel. So it's not just the breast, but it's all the way up into the collarbone, into the armpit, on the side, and on the sternum. And there's a whole system of laying in a certain position and, how to do it with the pressure, light, medium, deep. And so it's a great tool to be able to teach you and be proactive, because even if you get mammograms, thermograms, ultrasounds every year, that's great. But there's still 364 days of the year where your tissue can change. And I've seen time and time again, women with clear, so-called clear mammograms, clear ultrasounds, clear thermographies, 3 months, 6 months later, their breast is full of disease. And it was just missed. So nothing is 100% accurate. But you have the ability to touch your breast as often as you like, preferably at least once a month, and run through that exam, and it takes you maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes per breast.
Sure. And if you are doing it every month, then you will recognize immediately, wait a minute, this is different. This is different. And if you're not doing it and you think, oh, okay, well, that's there. You wait a month, it's still there. I don't think it's changed. But if you're doing it consistently, then you will now recognize, wait a minute, there's something different here. I need to react to that. And, and it's that, don't go to that fear, where get it looked out, because it's not always breast cancer. We know that. It could be something else, but you don't want to delay. You want to take care of it. Get that reassurance, take care of it, do whatever it is that you need to do for your health, and be aware of that. So, I'm thankful that, my mother found it. We've never had any family history that we know of. But, also females have not, my mom's very, very healthy. So she's lived longer than her mother and her sister. So maybe there would have been other indications there that we never knew of. So, not to say that because you have family history, you're going to get it or you don't have it. There's so many different factors in there. But, I'm thankful that she did it. She found it. She was, brave enough to say something. So, absolutely. So now, so that is my breast friend. So getting back to your book, Heal Breast Cancer Naturally, the 7 steps, there are, within those 7 steps, and I know, first of all, what I will tell everybody is get the book. Just go get the book. And, it's so great reading, not only for those who are with breast cancer, but any kind of cancer. Or just really wanting to have a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. You don't have to have breast cancer to order Dr. V's book. Maybe you just want to, take that knowledge and be informed, because there's nothing like having that knowledge. Knowledge is power, and your book. So we have the 7 steps. So maybe what we can do is just a little bit go through the book. The very first step is let food be your medicine, which is so important. So I put down alkaline foods versus acidic foods, and maybe you could touch a little bit on that.
Yeah, essential number 1 is let food be your medicine. And we tell our clients, you have a choice. You can feed your body or feed the cancer. And that's what it comes down to. It's really simple, because people have such emotional attachments to food. The first food that you want to avoid is sugar, because we know that sugar feeds cancer. And sugar is very acidic, and sugar suppresses your immune system for over 4 hours after 1 or 2 teaspoons of refined sugar. So you want to focus on more very, as you mentioned, alkaline foods. So lots of cruciferous vegetables to help that liver break down those toxins. Lots of leafy greens, the chlorophyll, the minerals, all those things that are so important. Sprouted seeds and nuts. I'm not big into lots of fruits, especially if you're on an active healing journey. Keep it to a minimal. Berries, strawberries, blueberries, lemons, limes, green apples. Don't eat a lot of pineapple and that sort of thing, but just kind of monitor your sugar with your fruits.
Yes.
And if you do choose to eat meat, make sure that it's wild caught or pasture raised, organic, no antibiotics, no hormones, and just very clean. And all you need is 2 to 3 ounces. You don't need a 10-ounce ribeye steak to feed yourself, right? Just a few ounces will give you the protein that you need.
Sure, absolutely. So, and again, being raised in a house, when you sit down to a really nice meal, how great do you feel, versus other foods?
Right.
You sit down and you eat proper foods. You feel great. You don't, and you feel lethargic and kind of heavy. So, so absolutely let food be your medicine. Next one, reduce your toxic exposure. And I want to tell everybody, there's so much reading in this book, and it's such an easy read that, we're going through this quickly, but I'm going to suggest go to Amazon. There's the information, and get the book. But reduce your toxic exposure. So you've got environmental, external, internal. Can you give a few pointers on that?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a toxic world. There's no denying it, no matter how clean we try to be. So you just have to make informed decisions about what you allow in your home space and what you put on your skin. And then when you look at things environmentally, make sure that you eat organic foods and not the traditional agricultural commercial foods, because they're laden with pesticides and herbicides, and they're very toxic. And you think about EMFs, learn to protect your environment from EMFs, because those can be very detrimental. But when you walk, when you get into your home, same thing. What kind of cleaners do you use? Do you use artificial sprays, or do you use essential oils to clean your environment that way? What you put on your skin, everything you put on your skin is absorbed directly into the bloodstream. So check the labels, make sure that things are squeaky clean, they're organic, and there's not a lot of chemicals that you're putting into your body. And then there's things you can do to detox your body: sweating, saunas, exercise, rebounding, coffee enemas, dry skin brushing. Just really taking care of detoxification pathways in your body.
Sure. And there's a lot of products out there that you can get that you might think are good. So really look at labels. You mentioned essential oils. I've got a lot of essential oils that I have, and 100% pure. So you want to be able to find, if you're looking at something, is it a good product? Because everybody might say, oh, well, I have a good product, or this is pure. Is it? You have to always do your research and know that, the product that you're looking at is worthy. Absolutely. Because everybody, you can see, I was actually listening to one of your previous broadcasts where you had a guest on, and they were talking about fragrance-free or scent-free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there is a difference. You think, oh, well, it's fragrance-free, but you want scent-free. So you really have to make sure that you're looking at your information. So you mentioned essential oils. So if anybody's looking at essential oils, there's my my link for 100% pure oils. So that's the toxics. Now balance your energy. So energy is everything. And, in my world that we talk about, absolutely everything that you do is energy, whether it's abundance, whether it's anything that you're looking for. You put out a negative energy, that's what comes back. So, that is really important too with the energy.
Yeah, we are 1 billionth physical matter. The rest is all energy. And so, how do we balance that energy? Well, chiropractic care, acupuncture, making sure you're getting proper sleep. Because if you don't rejuvenate and rest your bodies won't have very good energy. Balancing your hormones. Now, this is really key, especially for women who may be concerned about breast cancer, because traditional medicine or conventional medicine has really demonized our hormones and made us afraid of our hormones. Oh, your hormones are driving cancer, so you have to take these drugs to suppress your hormones. But in reality, it's the environmental hormones, the chemical estrogens that are mimicking and driving estrogens in our body. So just, be aware of that. Even fillings in your teeth are called metalloestrogens, and they can mimic and stimulate estrogen in the body. And then secondly, make sure that your body has the ability to metabolize or methylate those estrogens. You can find out by working with an integrative doctor, doing saliva tests, urine tests, DNA testing, and you'll find out if you're not breaking down your hormones properly, then you may have aggressive estrogens that are recirculating. So it's an important thing to know.
Absolutely, and that goes a lot with embrace biological dentistry, which is number 5, I believe.
Yeah.
So that sort of goes hand in hand with that toxicity. Or energy. Now, heal your emotional wounds. And I like you had a quote in there. Will you be bitter or better? I love that. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about healing those wounds. We all have that little wounded child inside of us. And if we don't take the time to nurture her, let her know she's safe, forgive yourself, forgive others, do the emotional work, and, release the past. Heal the past, manage your stress properly, because we know that stress is the #1 killer of all disease. It lays the foundation for everything. And so, just take the time and really, if I were to start over and do these 7 essentials, I think I'd put that as #1, because I really believe that 90% of the healing occurs between the ears and the heart. Because if you don't believe,
it does. And I've got a family member who's that we are dealing with this, and we had a conversation the other day, and I had said, because it does sometimes, those thoughts take over, and I said, well, do you want to live life or do you want to live dead? Because if you are having those thoughts all the time and wanting to be bitter, then you're living your life dead already. You need to live your life, and you really need to, okay, well, today is today, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to be, what happened in the past is we have no more control over that, but what we have control is what we do going forward. So really changing those emotions and thoughts really does. And, this person said to me, thanks so much. I really needed to hear that. And sometimes, we have to, be firm and say, no, we need to come out of that, because that's not serving any purpose, and I'm sure you've seen it in your practice.
Oh, definitely. If women don't get a handle on that, they don't do well. And there's a cancer personality that Dr. Douglas Brody talks about, and people who put other people first and put themselves last on the list, or who don't have healthy relationships, or who don't manage stress or suppress their emotions, type A personalities that are always go, 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 those are the types of people that develop cancer. So it's not just getting rid of that lump or bump, it's about transforming your life, because what allowed the cancer to grow to get you to that spot, you can reverse that. So you have a lot of power in changing your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, so another essential step, repair your body with therapeutic plants naturally. So, again, now I made my notes. You've got tumor terminators that weaken the cancer cells. And what would be something like that would be an example?
There's so many of them. Everything from wormwood to bloodroot, to products like poly-MVA, Oracell, medicinal mushrooms. I mean, there's a list that,
Sure.
goes on and on. And something as simple as high dose vitamin C can be considered a tumor
Sure.
terminator.
Yeah.
Curcumin, high dose curcumin. Making sure that you have your proper levels of vitamin D. If there's one thing that I would tell your audience, make sure your vitamin D levels are optimal, because just that can reduce your breast cancer risk by 83%.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
just check your vitamin D and definitely supplement with vitamin D if you're in the north in the wintertime.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And then you don't have to give examples for everything, but then you've got bodybuilders that will boost your immune system. You've got nourishing nutrients that support your healing process, and favorite foods that weaken the cancer. And we talked a little bit about, letting food be your medicine. And, again, it's like, what are you putting into your body? What are we putting in, not just through our mouth, but onto our skin? If we're putting lotions on that are toxic, if we're eating food. So, with that therapeutic plant. So if you're putting a lotion on, is it full of toxins and perfumes, or is it something natural?
Yeah. Totally.
Yes. And then, so we talked earlier about adopt early, very early detection, which is where, my breast friend really comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Into that. Now, if anybody is looking on how to get that, I'm going to put that back up too. But again, the book and the My Breast Friend is, and if you're not sure how to do it, that's a great tool to have. And if you're a mother with daughters, what a great gift, because I really do believe not everybody knows how to do it. And so simple. Mother's Day is coming up. So everybody look at something, and this is something that you want to give your mother so you can give to your daughters. So there you go. So perfect. So, I think that, in sort of reviewing everything, really, what energy are you putting out there, to the world, that will affect you? And I think it's really, if we're positive, and no matter what, we all have to have hope that, there's more answers out there for us. And I really believe your book really will answer a lot of that for people who are going through this, not just for breast cancer, but for any kind of, healthy living. So, and then what are you putting into your body? Nutrition, supplements versus toxins, and you have a great line of supplements. And I think everybody really sometimes, well, what can I take? What should I take? And again, I would refer everybody back to your book,
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And then what energy are you using to restore your energy? So, sometimes people, we don't always think of sleep as part of our energy life. And sleep is so important. It really is when our body rests and takes care of itself. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very regenerative process, and that's when the brain actually detoxes the most. In the nighttime, your brain shrinks down, and the lymph nodes that are in the brain, they're not really lymph nodes, but they pump out all those toxins. So if you're not sleeping, you're not getting that detoxification. And then, melatonin, it's known as a sleep hormone, so to speak, but it's also a cytotoxic hormone. It literally kills cancer cells in your body. So if you're not getting proper sleep, you're losing out on a lot of benefits.
Yes, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, is there anything that maybe you would like to add to our conversation that we haven't brought up?
Well, I think when it comes down to it, if you're, if you've been diagnosed, or somebody who's recently diagnosed, it's not a life-threatening situation like a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
You have time. And so take your time to really be still with that diagnosis, and what is your body telling you? Really listen to your intuition, and create a protocol for yourself. What kind of doctors do you want? What kind of treatments do you want? Do your research. If you choose conventional treatments, then what can you do to mitigate those side effects? What kind of nutrients? How can you change your lifestyle? If you do natural medicine, then, who can you work with? What kind of doctors? Do your research and create that healing team that's going to support you and cheer you on.
Yes, absolutely. Now I've got your contact information there. So if somebody is wanting to talk with a member of your team, is this the link that they can use to get a hold of you or somebody in your team?
Yeah, they can actually send an email to support at breastcancerconqueror.com, and that goes directly to my assistant, who will, she'll email you her phone number if you want to have a conversation, or there's a form on our website that you can fill out, and then we'll call you or talk to you within the first 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, and what is that again? And I'll put it up. Support.
Yep. At breastcancerconqueror.com. So it's the same as the website, just support at.
Okay. There we go. So there you go. So, well, that's wonderful. And so just before we end, I just, anybody who is listening on to this, I'm an independent affiliate of Hempworx, and if anybody is interested in getting information on that, please go into the comments and just write Hempworx, and we can talk further on that. So Veronique, thank you so much. Just thrilled. I know how busy you are, that you were able to squeeze a little bit of time in for me, and I just think this was really a really important message to get out to people, especially to, you think you might be okay, and then a family member sort of, opens up your eyes and you see, well, wait a minute, I need to look into this further. And I thought, well, I mean, with all of my history that, that I've been dealing with in our family with it, it still sometimes is kind of, you sort of take a second look, like, what? So, and it does. I would just say to everybody, take a moment and breathe and know that everything will be okay. Just have that hope. Anybody who wants to reach out to you, there's the information there, support at breastcancerconqueror.com. And I know that you have a fabulous team, and whether it's just questions or information that they're looking for, then, that's where they can find it. And if anybody wants the book, get the book. It's fabulous reads. So again, thanks very much, V. And I'm just going to close off with a little bit of a video. And if anybody's interested in hearing from me about Hempworx, I've got samples that I'd like to help out somebody with, but you have to put in Hempworx in the comment section. Again, V, thanks very much. I'll let you on with your day, and tell that brother of mine I said hello.
Okay. Thanks, Louise.
Thanks very much, everybody. Bye-bye. So thanks everybody for listening today, and I want to thank Dr. V for joining me. And yes, she's family, but she's very busy, and I'm just so appreciative that she was able to take your time. And I hope that you were able to find that information useful. The book is awesome, Heal Breast Cancer Naturally, and 7 Essential Steps to Beating Breast Cancer. And, this is an older version. She has another version updated, and there's so much great information in there. So I just really wanted to share that with everybody. And if you are looking at this website and you want to, or you're looking at the broadcast and you're listening in, I have CBD samples that I'd like to share with everybody through Hempworx, but you need to put in the comments Hempworx, and we'll go from there. It's a value of up to $15, and what I'd like to do is draw a name for it. So if you are looking at wanting a chance to try them, put it in Hempworx in the comments, HEMPWORX, and I'd like to be able to share that with you. You can check out my site. It's there, hempworx.com/Mosniaki, and that'll give you product info. If you are wanting to get a hold of me, then you can do my email, and there's my email, mosniaki@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Everybody have a fabulous afternoon, and I'll be checking comments for that word and see what we can do. And I'll be checking in the replay. So if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, we'll be looking for that. Anyways, everybody have a fabulous day. Blessings to everybody. Good night.